Hello, everyone. Welcome to Modern Day Messengers, episode
54, 55.
Episode 50-something. But anyway, we weren't really going to record this week, but due to all the things that have been happening this month, we decided to. I just got back in town, and we decided to just go ahead and get one knocked out.
This is a special episode.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit more serious. We're not going to be going through the book of Acts of anything. We're just going over the world news and just let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I think some truth needs to be talked about. Also people not talking about it that should be talking about it. So, but anyway, I know. Well, let's just hop right into it, man. So a lot of what we're gonna say is Bible based. It's Jesus based, God based, because we believe God exists.
Amen.
Right? So I would like to just kind of talk about before we get into the political side of things, I would like to kind of discuss the evidence of God and the arguments for God. And I sent Devin a video, was it yesterday?
Maybe. Yesterday or the day before today, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all starting to run together.
Yeah, I know. So, but it was a Charlie Kirk video. Mm-hmm. And it was a really good video I sent you. And it talks about basically the three big studies of God, right? There's the ontological view, which is probably a popular study, but it's the argument for God, ontos, the Greek word for being, highest conception for human beings of our own wisdom is God, right? And we'll get a little bit more into that about the innate value of man himself, like what separates us from humans versus a spider or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just anything else. And then the cosmological view of God, the Greek word cosmos, meaning the encompassing creation, all creation, the 15 fine-tuned measurements that if any was off by a micron of our existence would not exist at all. You know, he had mentioned just a few examples about like just how close we are to the sun, you know,
Tilt of the earth.
The tilt of the earth. If anything is off by, it's impossible without a creator. He also mentioned in there about like time, space, and matter. We've talked about this a few times, but for anybody, if you're atheist or whatever, there's still some physical, like science-based evidence that there's time, space, and matter. It's been proven. Albert Einstein talked about it and everything, that it does exist. So there has to be something that exists outside of that to create it, because we've talked about how nothing comes from nothing, that life always produces life. Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about that, especially on the last episode. I think we even talked about how God was a sustainer of life itself, you know, the power source of it. And then the theological side, argument for God, Greek word telos, meaning where we get our word telescope, but it means goal, destination, or purpose. And then Charlie said, for every effect, there must be a cause, which it's physics, you know? Yeah. Just by going by a scientific-based belief that if there's a cause and reaction, that means something had to cause it.
Yeah.
I was so anyway, besides going down a rabbit hole, I just wanted to let the viewers know, or whoever's watching this, that, you know, that's kind of the evidence for God, or it is the evidence for God. Yeah. You know, so.
Well, it goes back into that verse in 1 Peter chapter 3 that talks about always be ready to give a hope for the defense for the reason for the hope that you have.
Yeah.
Always be ready to give that defense. It tells me to always be educated, be digging into it. Like, some people get so shy around, like, hey, I don't want to study too much of God because, you know, I may find something I can't answer, and does that mean God's not real? Right. God's not intimidated by your questions.
Right.
Like, there's nothing, even in the realm of science, excluding religion, has ever disproved God.
Yeah.
They have things that are called like theoretical physics and theoretical this, but that's the word, theoretical.
That's right.
They don't know. There's some things that they don't, that they think. That anything that can be proven has only confirmed the way of the Bible.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can go all the way back into evolution in this, and like, they talk about how we evolved from a bacteria that went to a fish, that went to this, that went to that, and all the way to Neanderthals, now humans, and all this other kind of thing. And that's already been disproven, and people don't want to look into that because, evolution is that kind of, if I think there may be some kind of evolution, maybe I don't believe in God, it's something I'm not going to be able to explain. But science has already disproven that as well, because a bacteria, as long as a bacteria has been around or whatever, they look at the DNA structure, and there's numbers and codes that make up our DNA.
Yeah.
And some of them things in our DNA, they have like your eye color, your height, the way your skin's going to be, just whatever. And if we were looking at something that would evolve, eventually the DNA of a bacteria would evolve. It would start having these different characteristics in its DNA, which it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It stays the same.
Yeah.
And I mean, out of all these, depending on what kind of person you are, whether you believe the Earth is billions years old or only 5,000 or 6,000, which I don't know. I'm not going to get into that debate.
Right. Yeah.
I don't care about young Earth, old Earth. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, it just proves the point to where, like, what we're talking about is these are not little things, little arguments. Mm-mm. Like I've heard, just for an example, how like, okay, Cain and Abel and all this stuff, what happened to them and all this other stuff. And, we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about like just some basic facts, and just the root of it all. And so, but me and Devin decided to get here, use this platform to go ahead and, just be that voice.
Speaking of here,
yeah,
where are we at?
We're at Black Rifle Coffee today.
Why are we here? Why are we not in our regular studio room, whatever you want to call it?
I don't know. It's awesome.
Yeah, we got a new one.
Yeah, yeah.
If y'all can't tell, we're at Black Rifle Coffee here in Ruston, Louisiana. Y'all come check them out. They got a whole bunch of nice apparel over there. And because, we're talking about freedom today, we got the Freedom coffees up
Freedom
here.
Roast, that's right.
Best coffee around. Come check it out.
That's right. So kind of what we were talking about is just the evidence of God. And then also, back in Genesis, it says that, that man was created in the image of God. Mm-hmm. You've said this before, the Imago Dei, right? Mm-hmm. The image bearer of God. Okay, so the reason what we're going to talk about today, that's our basis and our foundation for what we're going to say. It's not anything that I've biasly thought of. We went through a lot of emotional states here in the past, 5 days or so. Mm-hmm. Week. It's been a week actually.
There you go.
Yeah, but like I said, we've gone through a lot of that, and it's just time to just go ahead and talk about it. So, but human beings are set apart from the rest of creation. We talked about this in Genesis, how God spoke everything into existence, but He was intimate when He formed man.
Yeah, when it came to man, it says He got down in the dirt and used His hands to form us, and then to animate life into us, He breathed. The word is ruach. He put His breath, the breath of life, into us. Yeah, we don't see that in any other part of creation. Yeah, it was spoken word. Yeah, but because He loves us and He cared about us, His breath. Yeah, is what gave us life.
That's exactly right. So, no matter who you are, or whatever, the message is that it doesn't matter. Like, we've all have sinned. Okay, the message of Jesus Christ is not okay. You become a believer in Jesus Christ, and now you have the moral high ground. It's nothing about moral high ground. It's nothing about that. It's that I'm a dirty, rotten sinner, and I've done a lot of bad things, and there's nothing I can do here on this earth that can forgive my sins. And so Jesus Christ is the only one that offers that salvation, because he was killed, and He resurrected from the dead, and He defeated death, hell, and the grave, and He gives eternal life. But the thing is, it's His grace and forgiveness is what it's about. I needed forgiveness, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here using this platform to teach about.
Yeah, and and as far as like being a Christian and shying away from these things, I know I just talked about that a little bit, but don't be afraid to tell people you don't know, because you don't have all the knowledge. There's going to be things that we don't know the answer to. Yeah. But just like I said, we've talked about it on the podcast, on the Bible study episodes, and especially when we were in the gospel. Were we in Luke or John? I think we were in Luke.
Luke.
Yeah, we did Luke. But we talked about the evidence for Christ, about all these events that happened over the 1,500-year period that the Bible was wrote, by 40 authors over I don't remember the mile span that what it was, but it was a lot. I don't remember. But if you look at it as events and not look at it through a 21st century mind where, we have smartphones, we can see what's going on in China right now.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, like, none of the things from the Bible contradict each other.
That's right.
All these authors, if it wasn't inspired by the Holy Spirit, then you would have some kind of contradictions over all this time, over all this space, everything.
Yeah, that's right. And just a quick example of that is they found not only the Dead Sea Scrolls, which matched our translations 100%, except for a couple of spelling errors or whatever.
Yeah.
But they matched. But they found another scroll written on like lambskin, written in copper. Like it was the entire book of Isaiah, and it matched it. And it was 1,000 years prior to the Dead Sea Scrolls. We're talking about like really BC.
Yeah.
Okay. And it matched it 100% to our translations today. The book of Isaiah. Okay. Yeah. All the prophetic word, it happened. And the reason why we quote the Bible and everything is because we truly believe that it is a historical narrative. And there's so much truth in it. And if you don't believe it, go look at it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, don't take our word for it because we say so. The reason why we really believe this stuff is because we've been studying this for a few years. Well, you longer than I have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's just incredible. Just like I said, it's good for history if you want to learn just the history of the world. I mean, it's good for corrections. There's nothing in the Bible that if you don't take out and apply to your life doesn't get better.
That's right.
That doesn't mean like you'll have a great life, like you won't have trials and tribulations. Actually, it probably means you will and have them worse than the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just incredible just to see everything that God put together, and just worked out perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything we're going to talk about, that's our foundation, that's our belief. The existence of God, the innate value of man, and then the next point is I wanted to kind of talk about truth, because there's this whole ideology that's been growing since the 60s, kind of roughly about the more subjective truth. It's been I've listened to a lot of like things and I did a deep, in the past week I'm sure a lot of us have done a deep search in things. But what I do want to talk about before I get into that is just the massive, I've seen millions of people like just come out just so boldly about their beliefs, and it's really sifted the wheat. But one of the things that I talked about or studied was objective and subjective truth. Mm-hmm. And the society's adoption of the subjective truth is so dangerous, because I believe really an example is that your truth is your truth, and I can't tell you otherwise.
Yeah. Well,
and
Yeah, and like it's such a dangerous thing, because like you have an absolute truth, which is the objective truth.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't change. It doesn't matter. 1 + 1 always equals 2, and y'all can miss me with all that bull crap.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And but like, and me, I always like to use extreme examples to prove a simple point.
Yeah.
So I mean, think about, for instance, like a pedophile.
Yeah.
They say, well, my truth is it's not gross to have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Bull crap.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like.
Yeah.
We'll deal with this one way.
Yeah.
Like, but if someone told you that my truth is that is not morally wrong,
yeah,
who in their right mind would agree with that?
Yeah.
That's bullcrap.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
There's objective truth is that is the image bearer of God.
That's right.
And if you want to go even deeper, the sexual relationship is only meant for one man and one woman in marriage.
Right.
You're not getting married to this kid.
Right.
You're not. And
yeah.
Well,
exactly. And so, and I know that's an example, but it is. I mean, that's the truth of it.
I mean, I like to use the extreme examples. Like, what if you say, hey, because this person doesn't say the things I like, then I can murder them? Well, we just had that.
Oh, I know,
I mean,
and we're going to get into that. But it was like, but you take another example, like Hitler. Okay, there are people that are like they've literally said that Trump is worse than Hitler.
Yeah.
And it's like, we can get into all that, but the thing is that he believed that this was the way the world needed to look, and then he slaughtered 6 million Jews, more probably, women, children, men, The Holocaust, right?
And there's not a person alive today that would say that's morally good.
I know.
But in the eyes of Hitler,
it was.
His truth,
that's right.
That was morally good.
That's why it's so important to not adopt the subjective truth thing, because it's just not. It's not right, and it leads to you can't say nobody's wrong. Yeah. So why is there a judicial system then? Okay.
Because there's laws.
Because there's laws.
There's truth in them laws.
That's right.
If you go against the truth in them laws,
right,
there's punishment.
Well, it's like this. Even and I'll talk out to people who don't believe in God. Okay, whether you're like all the anti-theists out there, basically.
Yeah.
That's just it's basically you're for God or not. Okay, so but the thing is that, like, for those who don't believe in a higher morality or a moral lawgiver, that means this earth is free reign.
Mm-hmm.
Anything goes at all. Mm-hmm. Okay? And there's a study that every human being, besides a couple of exceptions or a few exceptions, but every human being has the moral line between right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You have sociopaths. We talked about this yesterday about seared consciousness. Yep. Okay, and you can elaborate on that a little bit if you want to.
Well, yeah, and I don't. I've heard people say that sociopaths are born that way, and I don't necessarily subscribe to that way of thinking. Yeah. And just the way that I kind of think about it is talking about Pharaoh back in Exodus. It said his heart was hardened toward God.
Yeah,
that God hardened his heart. And it wasn't like God just like, hey, like, boom, I'm going to make you evil.
Yeah,
no, this
right.
was like he did so much turning away from God and ignoring God and not listening to the promptings that God was calling, that his heart was just completely shut off to God, and that caused that sear conscience. You know, these Israelite people, they weren't Israelites at the time; they're just Jews, huh? Yeah, not until they went to the promised land.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. But anyway, that these are just slave people, that we can treat them however we want to. We can beat them. You know, that's that hardened of his heart. That's that sociopath. That's that seared conscience. And I think that's, you know, I'm not a doctor or nothing by no means, but I think that so much of turning away from God is what caused a lot of seared consciousness and that sociopathic mindset.
Yeah, and I do want to point this out too. It's like, because we're gonna talk about a lot today, but the fact of it is, it's like we talk about objective truth and subjective truth. Okay, well, the objective thing is like you have to to make your decisions in life between good and evil, because that's what it is. It's either good decisions or it's not good decisions, right? So who gives you the discernment to do either or? Why am I not going out and rob and rape and pillage and do all this other stuff? Is because it's not right.
Yeah,
God says don't do that.
Yeah, you look back in the story of when Genesis, when God was making us, He said, "Let us make man in our image."
Right.
In the image of God, He created them, right. And you got to think about God is all good. There's nothing bad in Him. I mean, God is the realization of everything good.
Right.
So that's how you know that when you know something's wrong. We all know it's not right to go out and just murder an innocent person.
That's right.
It's because we have the imprint of God on our heart. We were made in the image of Him. We know that's wrong.
Right. Right.
And you can ignore that, and you can shove it down, and you can act like it doesn't matter, or it doesn't affect you.
Yeah. Well, we all have the gift of free will.
Yeah.
You can do what you want.
You can choose to ignore the prompting.
That's right.
But you know what is right and wrong.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can just. I don't know if you're ready to get into it, but I know there was a lot of events that happened. But I know we want to talk about the three main ones.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more. Actually, I heard of one today, but I'll mention that briefly.
Yeah. But look,
you want me to mention that first or at the end?
We can mention it at the end. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But I would say this, like, there is evil in the world. I'm not going to say one evil is worse than the other. The media does what it does, and we saw three main events that happened this month, and I saw a lot of comments saying that, you know, Charlie Kirk's, you know, trumped over, you know, these other ones. And if that's true, it shouldn't be. I think all should be talked about, and which is why, you know, we hear you and we see you, and we see everybody who's talking about it. And we did a lot of investigating, and we're just going to talk about the three main ones, you know.
Yeah.
But the school shooting that happened in Colorado, 16-year-old Desmond Holly, there's 3 in critical condition that we know of.
Yeah.
And then he died because he self-inflicted wound is what it says, you know.
Yeah.
But that's horrible. I mean, because we talked about it. Human life, no matter gay, straight, whatever, you committed this sin, you committed that sin, I still value that person as a human being created in the image of God.
Yeah, for sure.
But some people don't see people like that, and they you know what I'm talking about, and it's just like, I mean, that was an evil act on what he did. It should not have happened.
For sure.
You know?
And just I guess to kind of piggyback off of what you said, yes, like you said, straight, gay, black, white, bi, whatever the case may be, atheist, Christian, every one of that group has a potential to become a Christ follower,
right?
A child in the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying affirm anybody's sin. I'm not saying affirm my sin. I have sin.
That's right.
Don't affirm my sin. If you see me sinning, call me out on it.
Right.
I need that. But everybody is made in the imago Dei. They are image bearers of God. And if we look at them by their sin and not by the way that God created them to be children of Him,
right,
and we don't tell them the good news of the gospel, then are we any better than them? Because we have the cure to death, which is Jesus Christ, and we withhold it from them because we don't agree with their political stance. We don't agree with their whatever. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying affirm anything.
That's
by
right.
no means. I'm not going to affirm the lifestyle of LGBT, the hate, the murder. I'm not going to affirm that by no means.
That's right.
But I know God loves that person, and He wants them to know the knowledge and salvation of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. I love those people.
100%.
But love those people, absolutely. I mean, but if you don't agree with them, okay, you can speak your truth, and if you disagree, that's what's amazing about this country. And I mean, there's political assassinations that have happened throughout world history.
Yeah.
Okay, because they didn't believe in a certain belief. Well, look, man, I want to say I think America is a great country, and it definitely is one of the greatest countries. Is because somebody sacrificed their life to where we can get on a platform just like this and talk about, and we can have free speech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, for sure, agree with all that.
Yeah.
With them kids, man, like you said, that's just straight evil, and we can't call it like he was going through a mental health crisis. I don't care.
But look what he was a part of too.
I guess I didn't look that far into it.
Well, he was just the Satanistic occultist stuff.
Well, that checks out.
Yeah.
And man, we have to call out evil. Like that was straight evil.
Yeah.
And that wasn't you're not gonna catch me. Oh, I wonder if he had mental health problems. I don't care. I don't care what kind of problems you had. There's 4 people that are injured.
Yeah.
I think at least one severely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's straight up evil. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the family, that whole school district, the state, everybody who's affected by that.
Yeah, and then and we also, I'm praying against evil right now that's even brewing for all these other schools or whatever. Because if he was a fan of that kind of thing, and then it also there's a whole organization that they worship this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And
you see it lead to death.
Yeah.
The Bible talks about that.
That's
For
exactly
the wages
right.
of sin is death.
Yeah.
And you see these little things that put a wedge in a door of what should be a good God-following person, and it's just compromise a little moral here, compromise a little moral here.
Yeah.
I heard a pastor say it this way: 1 degree off does not seem like a lot when you're right here. But the further you go out, that 1 degree is incredibly far off from where you started or where you're supposed to be, that center.
Well, you'll never reach your destination.
Yeah, and especially followers of Christ. If we see people in our area that are around us, man, speak truth to them, because that's the only way that's going to get away from that depraved mind of that person.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're depraved until they know goodness.
Yeah, that's right.
Goodness being Jesus Christ.
That's right. That's right. The next thing we want to talk about is that bus stabbing with that innocent girl.
Iryna, is that how you say her name?
Iryna Zarutska. Yeah. She was 23 years old. She fled through Ukraine from war, and then this dude, DeCarlos Brown, He's been arrested and released 14 times. He's 34 years old, and he brutally murdered this innocent girl by stabbing her in her neck. And we see another evil act, being brought out.
So this one pissed me off. Excuse my vernacular.
Oh, absolutely.
But like this one really pissed me off because there was just so much wrong with it.
Yeah.
So girl sits down, Iryna, she's on her phone.
Yeah.
Guy behind her, he gets up, and you see him in the video. He unfolds the knife, and he stabs her. I guess I caught on to it late, so I only saw the video where it was like one stabbing, and then the video paused.
Right.
And went to the next scene. I don't know if he stabbed her multiple times or not.
Yeah.
But either way, he stabbed her in the jugular, and you could see she was in such shock. She didn't barely move. She just looked up scared.
Yeah.
But the thing was, like, in the video, you seen blood dripping from him and her.
Yeah.
And there was people all around.
Then
and not a sorry one of them suckers get their butt up and help that woman.
I know.
So if by some chance, if one of y'all that was on that bus listening to this, forget y'all. Y'all suck.
Yeah, for real.
Y'all are pansies, and y'all...
Yeah, y'all guilty.
Yeah.
Y'all guilty. I mean, it's just... that's... And I do want to talk about this, too, because it's like... And it's sad because there are some instances where, like, people were actually, like, go to defend somebody, and there may be a fatality or not on which end, and then you end up having to fight in court for your life not to go to jail because you did the right thing. And it's just like, it's so crazy, man. But
some of them never looked up from their phone.
I know.
There was one guy who was, I think he was toward the back of the bus, maybe like on the opposite aisle of them, maybe right behind the guy that did the stabbing. When the dude walked toward the front of the bus to the exit door, he got up and kind of looked around.
Yeah.
But he didn't intervene in no means.
Yeah, he walked off the bus.
Yeah, like, dude, why are we such pansies? Like, this is an innocent woman.
Yeah.
Another Imago Dei. She's an image bearer of God.
That's right.
And you did nothing? You watched her die? Yeah. Man, that guy was evil. Like, he had proven himself 14 previous times that he had evil in him. Yeah. That he is not, I would dare say he's not, unless he has given his life to Christ since he's been in jail, he's not a Christ follower, because someone who knows the love of Christ is not going to kill another image bearer of God.
Yeah, innocently.
Yeah, the fruit doesn't line up.
That's right.
And I hope while he's in jail, he gives his life to God. I truly do.
Yeah.
But I would say everybody in there was either extreme cowards or they had seared conscience about it. It's just another normal thing. Right. I don't know that to be true, that they have a seared conscience. Yeah. My line of thinking is they're cowards. Yeah. Somebody should have picked that dude up and dropped him on his head and scrambled them eggs.
Yeah. It is sad. It's a sad thing, and I absolutely hate it. But like,
been drinking out of a straw.
Yeah. It's just nuts, man. And then obviously the thing that's worldwide news right now is Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. We want to. Our prayers go out to him and his family too, because he was killed on a political stance. Now, I want to say this as well, because there are people out there right now, even pastors, okay, that are saying he was a racist, he was a bigot, he was a Nazi, he was a white supremacist, and he was spreading hate. Okay, I want to say that's a lie. Okay, and I don't know the dude's name. You sent me a video this morning or whatever, but I don't know. He's a black preacher or whatever, but the entire congregation is going absolutely nuts in agreement with this, because he's out there. It had nothing to do with love or Jesus Christ or nothing, or forgiveness or whatever. He was talking about how the flag was set at half mast for honoring him, and he was against that because he was such a racist. Go find
Pastor Howard John Wesley.
Yeah, what church? Does it say?
I didn't. Let's see.
That's not what they're supposed to do.
No, it doesn't have. I don't see a church name, but
well, that's wrong. You're not supposed to. It's like he could have talked about it, but he failed to do his own research. Yeah. And if he failed to do his own research there, then I don't trust where he's coming from the Bible.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm not telling anybody they have to agree with Charlie Kirk's political stance. That's right. By no means do you have to agree. But, man, look at the fruit of what he did, man. He went around and he told people about Jesus. Yep. And I remember I followed him. I followed him for many years. Years. When it was just him with a little bitty table that said, change my mind.
Change my mind. That's right.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you see it grow. Like, he started off with a lot of political stances and started talking about a lot of that and conservative values, which, or abortion is wrong, transgenderism is wrong, that things. And then the longer that he got on, went on in this, you saw a lot more of the Jesus come out. Like you saw him talking about, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and the only way to, come to that repentance is go through Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And then you've seen where a lot of his stances politically were only driven by his stance on Jesus.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the facts of it is that these people who are making fun of this dude for his death and are calling him all this everything and that he spread hate, I just want y'all to go. They need to go look at his videos. Mm-hmm. If you find one racist thing he said, and actually watch the entire video, not just a clip.
Well, see, that's the thing. Anybody can clip anything and make it say what you want. It's the same thing about Bible when people cherry pick Bible verses.
Yeah, go look at it, and you tell me what he said was racist, okay, or what he said to spread hate. Because if you go look at all of his videos, he valued Jesus Christ for one, and that's what he wanted to die knowing for, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
Because when I think of Charlie Kirk, I think of a Christian man first and a family man.
Yeah.
Okay. Second, I think of his political stance. But no matter what side he was on, he was speaking the truth. Okay. And he was not racist. Okay. What they're saying he was racist for, I'll tell it. It was about the DEI stuff. Okay?
Yeah. About the airplane and stuff.
Yeah, airplane and stuff. Okay. Well, the thing is, it wasn't about a race thing, and it wasn't black or white. Okay, they were specifically talking about the black race or whatever, but it was because, is he qualified or not? Because I don't want someone hired because of their color.
Yeah, because DEI made it to where you had to hire people with a diverse, like, you had to have enough white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people. Like, it had to be more diverse. It wasn't about qualifications.
Yes, right.
It was about diversity.
And
that's a problem.
That's a problem. And so my thing is that I don't care what color you are. Are you qualified to fly this plane?
Yeah, think about it. Think about it in the sense of like brain surgery.
Yeah.
Like, do I want a doctor who is there because they needed a diversity of doctors, or do I need a doctor who passed 100 on every one of his exams, who's done 100 of these surgeries and only had barely any fatalities out of it? I don't care if that doctor's white, black, green, purple, yellow. It doesn't matter to me. I want a qualified doctor messing around in that noggin. Ain't nothing too much going on there.
And I'll quote him. He said, "It's not about race. It's about the excellence." It's so anyway. And there was this whole other debate about like, back in when they were playing basketball and stuff, and how they're saying the argument was that they implemented DEI when they allowed like black people to play basketball. And it was like, no, that was an elimination of segregation.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't because they needed black people to play or whoever. It was because they're like, look, segregation is wrong. We're going to do away with it. Guess what? Now 50% or more or whatever of the NBA is black. Okay. Because they're good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's about being excellent at what you do or being whatever. It's not about because you're this race or whatever that I have to hire you. Yeah. It's just anyway.
And the quote definitely checks out today. White men can't jump.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they don't.
And I'm brown and I can't jump. So, but anyway, but I just want to say that this man got assassinated. He was an innocent man.
Yeah.
And it's horrible to see that. And it's just. But we have seen. Anyway, I'll let you talk, and then we'll talk.
No, you're good. But back on the clips, like I've seen a few posts where they're saying, "Remember, Charlie Kirk said this," and it's like if you look at it in the clip of just the post, yes, they sound bad.
Yeah.
But if you actually go back and listen to it,
yes,
you'll see the more content. Yeah. But like, don't just trust something because it's texted down or whatever the case may be, or you see a meme or something. Go back and actually listen to the content. Because there's one that drove people crazy where he talked about Martin Luther King. And Martin Luther King is a great person who did a lot for ending segregation and things.
Right.
But morally, Martin Luther, and this is what Charlie Kirk talked about, morally, Martin Luther King had a lot of bad things going on. And a lot of these reports that have come out, like he was involved in rape and cheating on his wife and having a child outside. Yeah. This is where he was talking about. He was talking about the moral degradation of Martin Luther King.
Sure.
Now, the movement that Martin Luther King fought for and accomplished, which ended up ultimately costing him his life, man, that deserves all the praise.
Sure.
I mean, he did incredible things.
That's right.
For the movement of ending segregation.
Yeah.
But as far as a person, a moral person who claimed to be about the Bible,
Yeah.
His fruit did not match up to that.
Right. And so this gives me an example too. Like someone can literally watch this video right now.
They're going to clip that.
They can clip the first part of it.
And now I'm racist.
And now you're racist.
Yeah.
And it's just not true. Listen to the whole thing and listen to the whole point because, I mean, everything he said, and even if he didn't agree with it, he shouldn't have lost his life over a different view. That's what the beautiful thing about this country is that we can talk about it, disagree about it, and guess what? We move on. Mm-hmm. It's not about killing innocent people or whatever just because they don't believe the same thing you do. But I do challenge everyone that sees this is to go do the research because you're right. People can clip it, they can meme it. AI is involved now. Okay, you really got to dig deep and spend some effort into kind of looking up some good resources to make sure you got the facts. Mm-hmm. Okay, because when this happened, there was a lot of false information going out about Charlie's thing about the bulletproof vest and all this other stuff, and it's just like, look at the facts. You're gonna have to be a sponge. You're gonna have to filter out the bad crap and then actually process the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I mean, just with the AI and the false information, man, this is not a new tactic used by the enemy. This is all the way back into the garden.
Yeah.
Did God really say you can't do this?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you won't die.
Yeah.
You know, God just knows once you do that, you'll be made like Him, and then your eyes will be open, and all this other stuff. And then you go into the and where Jesus was in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're the Son of God, turn that bread to stone.
Yeah.
Like
right.
And it's just the same thing as AI is just 2025 as compared to when Jesus was walking around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same tactic, just misinformation.
Yeah, that's right. And so but what it's led to is just it's just crazy. You know, they got the Turning Point USA program and everything. Mm-hmm. And I really have seen I've seen a lot. I've seen millions of people gather up. The revival is absolutely insane. I'm talking about countries.
Yeah.
Entire countries just going. And what it's led to is just a boldness for Christ. And I think people are fed up with it. I'm fed up with it. I mean,
I'm seeing videos where these people, and like obviously I don't know if they're just doing it for clout or it's true. I lean on it's true.
Yeah.
But there's these people who's like, hey, I've never opened the Bible in my life, but because of what happened to Charlie Kirk, I've started reading my Bible and I discovered the Jesus of the Bible.
I've seen people that are going to church now. I've seen people getting saved. I'm seeing like Louisiana Tech over here. By the way, I'm gonna call them out because Louisiana Tech did not listen to the ordinance given by the president to do half mass. I don't know if you knew about that.
I knew about the ordinance. I didn't know Tech didn't do it.
The only reason they did is I don't know what student you are, but he sent a letter to the president of Louisiana Tech and saying, I'm going to turn you in if you don't do it. And he did it, but only because it was threatened.
That's what's caused having some cojones.
Yeah, but anyway, so student, congrats to you, man, because
awesome.
It needed to be done and it needed to be said. I don't live around there, so I didn't see that.
Yeah,
but
I didn't either.
I'd have done the same thing. Anyway.
It's awesome.
But yeah, stand up for what's right. We see a huge awakening. And that time will tell what happens. I mean, some thoughts that I've been having is, is this going to last or is it going to fade away with time? But it feels so different.
Yeah,
it feels so different to me. I don't think this will die. I think it just ignited something. And did you hear his wife's speech?
Oh yeah, man. This man just chilling.
Oh my goodness, the entire time, and I'm like,
you awakened a roaring lion.
Yeah, there's
however she said, but it was it's powerful.
The battle cry that'll be heard across the world and stuff, and I was like, wow. So my thing is that you pissed a lot of people off, and there's been a lot of mixed emotions. I've been sad, extremely angry.
Anger's been my go-to.
Yeah, it's like when it first happened, I was ready to go guns blazing.
Yeah,
like I'm ready. I'm strapped up and I'm good to go, and but I spent a lot of time in prayer and studying and doing a lot of things, and then before we even recorded this, just to make sure that I had my wits about myself, so I didn't say nothing stupid. So
you trying to call me up?
No. I know we both have. We've been doing a lot of soul searching, but but I've seen like Germany, like Korea. I think it was Australia, like around the U.S. Like they have been getting together and doing talking about millions of people gathering, millions of them. They're doing something here at Tech. They're actually restarting the chapter Turning Point here at Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, apparently from the person we met yesterday, they had one, and I guess the people who were running it graduated, and it kind of just fizzled out.
It fizzled out.
And I guess this right here is igniting and going to get it started back up, which I think is incredible.
Yeah.
And for people who are against the Turning Point, like obviously I don't think you understand what Turning Point is. Just kind of talk about what Charlie did. He would go to these campuses, and he would have open debate.
Open debate.
Like if you disagreed with him, he encouraged you to come talk to him.
That's
so he would sit down. He would let you talk about your viewpoints, why you think he's wrong, or why you agree with him, or whatever you had on your mind.
That's right.
And he would engage in that audience. Now, if you didn't agree with him, he didn't throw a rock at you. He didn't cuss you out. Whatever the case may be, he let you talk. You talked, and y'all went about your way. But he's going there and he's informing these people of how the world actually works, about of moral character, of what these policies that these politicians are making actually mean, and what effect they will actually have on the generations to come. He's just giving them information.
That's right. Because how do you make like our future better? It's not only teaching the people who are currently like elders and people who are in the system, but reaching the young.
You got to.
Okay. He went through this thing called college is a scam. Okay. Now, is college great? It's for some people. Like me, I went 2 years and I dropped out.
Yeah.
He was in a debate about credentials. Okay, first of all, someone who went to a community college for 2 years and then dropped out has reached millions and millions of people, if not billions by now.
Yeah.
It's probably in the billions by now. And he kept saying, like, where's your qualifications, Charlie? And it's like, what do you mean? Like, he came from, I think it was a pretty small town or something. I just saw it this morning. But anyway, for someone from not... He wasn't set up like a trust fund baby.
Yeah.
Right? Started out, went to college, and then he did all this other stuff.
Remember, he said he had no money when he started it up. He just had had a talking point and an open mic.
And an open mic, yeah.
And it just people have donated and contributed to the cause.
Yeah, and that's what America needs. We need to have this whole like subjective truth thing has shut the mouths of people because they're too afraid to talk.
Yeah.
Okay, my thing is that if there's no contradictions or any kind of like, if we're not communicating, it's just like in marriage or relationships, man. If you're not communicating, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're not arguing, there's a problem. Okay. So, it's good to have those open discussions because why? It leads people to think a little bit deeper than the surface level stuff.
It causes you to think critically.
That's right.
Think on your own, to investigate things yourself.
Yeah. What's the truth in this? Okay.
Charlie wasn't trying to convince you to believe what he said because he said it.
That's right.
He was trying to encourage you to think critically and go look at this
stuff. Go look at the stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
That's right. And then he spit facts,
Yeah.
It's just like they call him a racist, because all this other. He was talking about the black community at one point. They talk about how 75%. It's the largest fatherless, race you could say, is in black culture. 75% of fathers are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a problem. That's a big root of the problem why the family's not together.
Yeah,
and that's what he said, and he got reamed for it.
Well, because people are listening through the senses of their emotions.
Yeah.
They're not listening through the sense of the facts that are being presented.
Right. Back in the 50s or 60s, it was like 25%, and look how much it's grown. That's 75%.
Yeah, and then it just you can pull bad statistics out of any group, culture, race.
That's right.
Like I'll just go for the divorce thing, for example. Divorce in the secular world is 50%. So divorce in the Christian world is 50%.
Yeah.
But like you said, the fatherlessness, that's a big part of the problem, because where you see kids don't have that structure, they don't have that man to bestow masculinity or teach them about the world, then you have a bunch of boys trying to bestow masculinity onto boys.
Yeah.
And, like you said, they took that little bit of clip, they took it out of context.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we're here to just expose the truth of it all. And talk about both sides of it, okay? Because another thing is that we're talking about the shooter,
Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. I forgot his name, but anyway, we're talking about him and how, from Charlie's perspective, even if he would have been wounded or whatever, and he was still alive,
he would still want him to
he
come
would
to the
still
repentance.
he would still be praying for that man to come to know Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And there's another guy that goes to college campuses, Cliff, and his son.
Yeah.
I forgot his son's name, but because I watch most of my stuff is Cliff talking, but he said I hate their sin. I hate their sin.
For sure.
I hate what they're doing. He said, but I love that human being because they're created in the image of God. We've been talking about the image of God because we want to expound on how important that is. That's what separates the human race from everything, all the rest of creation.
Yeah.
We're very important. Okay, we just need forgiveness.
For sure. And like that, it's kind of like this Tyler Robinson guy. He's in jail, and I hope he comes to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ as well. I hope he makes Jesus the Lord of his life. And I guarantee you, if he does, and he gets put to death, he dies in jail, he lives a life, whatever the case may be, at the end of this life, I guarantee you people like Charlie Kirk will go give him a hug and welcome him. Like, hey, man, you're finally here. Been waiting on you.
That's right.
That's right. I'm sure that will be the case. Now, that does not negate what needs to happen judicially.
There's a justice system, yes.
Like he needs, like you killed someone public. If we were a just society, you would be killed publicly.
There's the Bible even speaks on this.
Yeah, and I have a verse pulled up about it.
So you can read that one, and then I got another verse as well.
Okay, so Ecclesiastes 8:11 says, "When a sentence of a crime is not quickly carried out, people's heart are filled with schemes to do wrong."
Yeah,
and that just kind of goes into what we're talking about. Like there has to be a consequence for these heinous acts. Like and him sitting on death row for 20 years, by the time, if that's the case, when he dies, they're going to be so far removed from it, it's not going to negate no crime.
That's right.
Like, and this is just me talking. I fully believe that these people who harm children, who take innocent life, who do these things, these heinous acts, like, you should have your execution done publicly.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really cruel, and it's like, man, did he just really say that? I did. But think about this. If I was a bad guy and I'm sitting here doing the crimes that I'm doing and I see someone else who is killed publicly for the crime that I'm doing, that would probably, that looks like that sucks. I don't want to do that.
And if it was done, it used to be, even in biblical times, it was done swiftly.
Yeah.
The example of Jesus Christ, arrested that night, was crucified.
Yeah.
Literally the next, within 24 hours.
Yeah. And I'm not saying don't go through the legal process and get your defense. Like, if you're innocent, fight it out.
That's right. Right to trial.
Yeah.
But do it swiftly.
Yeah. But like, for instance, like the Iryna girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have all the video evidence that we've seen him stab her in the neck.
Plain as day.
Why are we going to sit there in 20 years, have him in jail for 20 years? Like,
I don't agree with that.
Like, okay, like, I understand we have to go through the legal system, and he has to has to get declared guilty. But let's hurry up and get this done with. We know he's guilty. We saw it on camera.
It should be
I don't care.
up.
I don't care if you have mental health issues. Mental health is not a cop out to be a turd.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not. It's not. Like, I understand people have mental health. I have people with mental health issues in my family.
Right.
Like, I understand that people have mental health issues. It does not exclude you from consequences of crimes.
That's right. Evil deeds are evil deeds.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But I also wanted to talk about, we were talking about the response of the nations and the people, and I've seen some churches talk about the fact of the matter, and you could kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but basically they did what they were supposed to do. Some churches talked about it, look, this is what happened. We lost a brother in Christ. This is what he stood for. He's a martyr.
Yeah.
Because the first thing, if there's people saying that he's not a martyr, I want to let you know that he died believing and preaching that Jesus was Lord and Savior and Lord, and he preached God no matter where he was. Okay.
And the death that came from him came from the hands of evil, and we know who was behind the hands of evil.
Yeah.
Lucifer.
That's right.
He wanted to shut him up.
That's right. So
yeah, martyr.
Yeah, and I believe a lot of churches. I've caught wind and got some information, but about how some churches stood up and told the congregation, "Hey, this is how we need to respond to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is where your heart needs to be. An evil thing happened, okay? Because and some churches didn't, okay." And I don't agree with that.
There's a few churches in our local area that didn't even mention it. And
What are some of them? Because I only know. So what I know is I didn't go. I got in late on Saturday, so I didn't go Sunday morning.
yeah,
But from word of mouth, I heard that like even my church, Christ Church, they said a little bit during the music, and then I think our pastor said like a couple of words, but it was a little vague.
yeah, that's pretty much what I heard. I did not go and listen to the.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, so I don't know. But I need.
But I've had people texting me talking. I had people like, "Hey, man, is it wrong that my church didn't mention this?
Yes.
Is it like my church didn't mention it at all?"
Yes,
and I think it's completely wrong.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, one, like you said, he's a modern day martyr.
Yeah.
Because he died for the faith. Because his faith drove everything that he did, between telling people about the gospel and
100%.
His political views were rooted from his belief in Christ.
Yeah.
So yes, martyr.
Where's the support? Yeah.
Yeah. So one, like celebrating the life and the ways that he's touched people for the kingdom of God. But number two, because you know that killing affected probably everybody in your congregation. There's not a person in this country that doesn't know what happened at this point.
Or has seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I didn't want to see it, but like
I
thing's
didn't
floating around my cerebellum causing damage.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, yeah, but so you know there's a lot of hurt going on in your congregation.
Yeah.
It needs to be addressed.
That's right.
So many pastors are scared to dive into these things because they have a political undertone. This isn't political. It's like abortion. If you don't talk about abortion and how it's wrong and it ends the life of an innocent human being, are you really a pastor? Because everybody wants to stay away from these political topics. But, man, forget that.
Yeah.
If we only have atheists making laws and making policies, then we're going to be ran by atheists. Is that what we want? No. Christians need to get in the daggum fight and stop being a bunch of pansies.
That's right.
And if you didn't call it out, I'm calling you out, Pastor.
Yeah, that's right. Because here's the thing. It's if they should have preached that as boldly as they preached Stephen. All the 10 disciples.
Yeah.
Right, because John went to Patmos and then Judas hung himself.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all martyred for the faith. Okay, many other martyrs that were for the faith. John the Baptist got beheaded.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we see a lot of those things, and they preach all of that. And they're like, "Where are you when it's time to preach the truth of God? And where are you when you need to have faith like this, and you need to be bold like these people?" Stephen prayed for those. Jesus said, "Forgive those, for they not know what they do." They preached so boldly on that, but when it came to Charlie, they went silent.
Yeah.
That's just astounding to me. Like and this is one of my personal thoughts. We get up here on a social media platform and we talk about Jesus and all this, and then we don't really shy away from political views. It's just
I'm the angry one of the group.
Yeah, and so, but the thing is, it's like, am I next? Because I was thinking like, if someone were to come after us or anything like that, then it's like, for our views, it's like, is the church going to talk about it and have my back or my family's back? And
or are they going to say, if you didn't agree with them, like, no matter what side of the aisle you man, no, call out freaking evil.
Yeah, it's not about
that.
It's not about
when you're talking about this, it's pissing me off.
Well, yeah, it's not about.
I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. I don't care if you are red, blue, independent, libertarian. That doesn't have anything to do with what's going on.
Right.
This is a image bearer of God who was killed for preaching the gospel.
Yeah. Same thing with the school shootings, the stabbing, and all this other stuff. And then I did want to address this. There was some people talking about how and they always bring the party, right? So like they're talking about how when people get murdered in their own homes and they're part of the Democratic Party and all this other stuff, how no one says anything. Okay. Well, it should be. They're still image bearers of God, okay? And whether they were Christian or not Christian, I don't know.
Well,
but
it's like the Nancy Pelosi thing. I think she's probably one of the most evil people around. But if I remember right, she got broke into and her husband got beat up and it was a real bad situation. That's evil.
Yeah.
The person that broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and attacked her and her husband, or just her husband, I don't remember exactly how it was. That's freaking evil.
Yeah.
Like, call out evil.
You call it out. Yeah, that's exactly right.
But we need that boldness from the church, because if a church, and I heard churches, and I actually watched a service, and I don't even remember who it is now, but there was one where the pastor's like, hey, we all know what happened this weekend. We're going to pray about it and move on. And it was like a fart in the air where it was there and it was gone.
Yeah, it's like
you farted in the wind and now it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the boldness on that? Where's the calling out
Well,
evil?
my thing is that all these, like all the, and I'm not saying all, but I'm just going to kind of generally speak about like the counseling. Like I just got back, me and my wife just got back from a marriage retreat. And we talked about communication and safe places and not being afraid to open up about your emotions and all this other thing so it can get out there. They said even and one of the things they quoted was, and I thought this was great, even if it doesn't make sense, talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a lot of underlying emotions that can lead to all kinds of crazy stuff, which causes division. Okay, why are they not having that same energy in the church?
Yeah.
Like, why don't I feel like it's a safe place for me to talk about my emotions and feelings? They're telling me I should do this in my home, but why can't I do it at the church? We are the church.
Yeah.
I should be able to talk about it, and pastors should be able to teach and talk about all these wild emotions that are happening. I mean, people are confused, hurt, angry, lost. Like, and on one side we see a revival of the church, and then in the four walls we see silence. I'm not saying that for all of them.
Yeah. And I'll give a shout out to the church I go to, Whites Ferry Road and West Monroe.
Yeah.
Man, so the shooting happened on September 10th.
Yeah.
Wednesday was September 11th, so we had Peak of the Week service. And we went up there, and Pastor Mike, he got up there, and he called it out, man. He called out evil. He acknowledged that people are hurting.
Yeah.
He acknowledged that, this is confusing times.
That's right.
He talked about Charlie Kirk being a man of God, and you know that he's in the kingdom of heaven now. Like, and I just thought, like, yes, amen. Like, way to be bold, Pastor.
That's right.
And I'll tell you one that shocked me. I didn't think it was going to happen. I saw a clip where, and y'all know how we feel about Michael Todd. We hope he comes to the true repentance of the Lord.
Right.
But even Michael Todd called it out.
Right.
Michael Todd.
Yeah.
And as much as in the world as he is.
Right.
He had the nuts. Excuse my vernacular.
That's right. Yeah.
He had the stones to call out the evil for being evil. Like, good on you.
Even I have seen. I don't know if y'all know this, but I think it's one of those transgender people out there. I can't remember his name, but he's a massive influencer. He even called it out.
Yeah.
Someone who literally is LGBTQ whatever plus, and then all this other stuff. He was like, well, if y'all celebrating Charlie's death, y'all are wrong. And it was just, and we could talk about all the negative things about it, but and the pastors that are even talking and leading their congregation down a road of hate, like legitimate hate and prejudice against an innocent person, they're wrong too. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're just wrong. But I think how we're responding is like, it needs to be talked about. It really does.
Yeah. And I think about the mission of what the building the church is supposed to be. So we all know that the actual church is us going into the world and preaching the gospel to the world.
I'm looking up a Bible verse.
I'm talking about the contents of the actual building church, the four walls and whatever.
I actually want to tell you something about that real quick.
Okay.
It was actually something I learned from Charlie. And it was about how on this stone I will build my church. Okay, you know that Bible verse?
Mm-hmm. He's talking to Peter.
He's talking to Peter, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Greek word that he used it doesn't actually translate to church. And Charlie even said that that's the wrong translation. That if you go and look it up, it's like a build his government like rules basically.
Yeah.
So it was like it was just something different, but it was like but it was how we need to be set up basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was just a cool fact I found this morning.
Yeah.
But continue.
See if I can catch my rabbit back. Okay, yeah. And I'm just talking about in the context of the four-cornered wall church.
Yeah.
The building church. That is meant to be a time where it empowers believers. The mission is Monday through Saturday when we go out into the world and preach the gospel to lost people.
Yeah.
The church is where we're empowered, we're encouraged, we are informed of things of Jesus Christ to give us that knowledge and that boldness to be able to go out into the world and preach the gospel to the end of the world.
Yeah.
So think about it, like if you think about it in that context, your audience, for a lack of better terms, is your believers. The believers are the ones who are hurt by all this stuff, man. And like, I think it was real cowardice to either say it and, like I said, be a fart in the wind, just to say it in passing, or to not speak on the evil. Like, like I understand if a church is in a series, but like things happen in the world, and people need to be addressing this. It's like the abortion thing. Like if we pretend it doesn't exist in the church,
right?
Like, how are you going to empower people? If you were too afraid to talk about it in the pulpit, how is your congregation going to have the boldness to go preach it into the world?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, like, pastors, do better.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I totally agree. I didn't, and I wanted to. I know we're kind of running low.
Probably past, but it'd be all right.
It's all right. But I did want to share this Bible verse because Charlie was assassinated at 12:23. And then I saw a video this morning that he said that he opened up his Bible to John 12:23, and it was, and I'll just read it. Now, it's not like, he said this is not completely contextual, but he felt like God gave him some peace.
Yeah.
And just some understanding about it all. And I think that's what our nation needs to hear a little bit. So, anyway, it said, so this is, and I don't believe, I just want to put it out there, I don't believe that God, there's no accidents.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I'm a Numbers fan, so I'll just go ahead and read it. John 12:23. And Jesus answered them, saying, the hour has come for the Son of Man should be glorified. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. And that's the verse right there. It was 23 and 24, but it's because it's a complete thought, obviously. But he was saying that it was like God gave him a peace about, like he said, it's time, the hour's come for the Son of Man to be glorified. We've seen a massive revival around the entire world. I mean, people getting saved, coming to Jesus Christ, accepting forgiveness, because that's what it's about. We've seen already Christians and believers gather in prayer over our nation. It wasn't just about Charlie and his family. This is something way bigger than this.
Yeah.
And but they weren't just praying for that. They were praying against just the evil in this world. And then it says, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, talking about, he said God was showing that Charlie's sacrifice will not go in vain. It remains alone. He said, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. So even though he said it wasn't completely contextual, he said that he felt like God was leading them to a peace, that this specific death is going to bear much fruit.
Yeah.
And we see that, and I just thought that was a really cool thing I saw this morning, and I wanted to share it.
Yeah. So. And I know I have my angry moments or whatever, but I'm not against churches. I'm not against pastors.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
And basically, the reason I said it the way I said it is I want you as pastors to be bolder.
Yeah.
Speak truth to your congregation because they're going out to war.
Yeah.
This is not, a go along to get along type world anymore. This is war. You're either going to stand on the principles of God or you're not. And you got to remember, as a pastor, you are held to a higher standard. You have to equip your flock to be able to attack and combat the things of the world. And a book that I read last year that I just loved, man, Vodi Bachum's book, Fault Lines. It talks about all this evil and how it's crept in. And if you haven't read it, I would read it, not only for the regular person, but also for pastors, because you get to see how these fault lines, as he puts it, has made its way into where it was just a tiny little thing, and now it's running our culture.
Yeah.
Everything about the feel good movement or the leftist agenda or the LGBTQ and all this other crap is now dictating everything that goes on in culture.
Yeah.
So that's a really good book to pick up. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I don't have anything else to say about the matter. Except for, go search for the truth. You'll find it.
And tell somebody about Jesus today.
That's right. So I know this was a little bit different episode today, but it might be the new normal. Because I know it ignited a fire in me to just speak the truth, as well as Devin and millions of others like us. So, I don't know. That's all I got.
That's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Y'all have a blessed day.